Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at...
Pardon the interruption for a very important news update.
This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther, farther, farther. Theme hits loud, then the grips come off. Call out the card, call every payoff. Botches, legends, titles, and heat. Pay-per-view nights, run it back, repeat. They slam, we analyze. Move for move, every feud, every bruise, every pivot move. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. No script, just true. Every jab breaks through. From the bell to the brawl. Name the show. We want it all. 1, 2, 3. This is no holds barred. We go hard, we go harder. In the ring, on the mic, every shot is no holds barred. Feel the charge, feel the armor. Bobby Josh in your brain, turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther. Turn it up, go farther.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast here on FTSN and, of course, the No Holds Barred Wrestling channel. It's been a minute. Appreciate everybody dropping in here. WrestleMania Rewind. Our series continues. It's been a little bit. We did our what is it? The What If episode and talk about rebooking WrestleMania 1 through 10. That was a lot of fun. Took a little bit of a break because we had some stuff going on, but we're back. Talk about WrestleMania 11. WWF meets the NFL. I'm Bobby Melendez. That's Josh Kimmel. Josh, first off, I was touching some stuff over here, getting everything ready, and I saw from our No Holds Barred Wrestling YouTube channel, it recommended Memphis Wrestling Live in Jackson, Tennessee. It's a live indie show going on right now. I was like, oh, look at these silly dudes. That's what's going on over here. So I was like, I'm watching a whole battle royal going on here. But anyway, a lot to talk about with WrestleMania 11. I was excited now because we're post Hogan.
Yes.
This is it. This is the run.
Yes.
And so it's kind of, it's, you don't want to do that, but, kind of judge it based off those 10 WrestleManias, but you kind of have to, because like, okay, everybody deserves an opportunity. We should get other guys opportunities, get rid of Hogan. Okay. Have these last two WrestleManias been worth it? 10 and 11. We'll get into it, but just initial thoughts before we get into match to match here on this WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania took place this year. Well, that year, 1995, April 2nd, Hartford, Connecticut, Hartford Civic Center, and boy, did it look like it. Boy,
50,000 fans.
Yeah, did it look like a mess? It was very, very. It just looked carny. I'll just say it. It looked carny. It didn't look WrestleMania. It looked like a regular show. It felt like a regular show. They tried to stuff in a ton of celebrities that some I knew, some I didn't know. Some I'm like, oh, I forgot about Jenny McCarthy. She just vanished from my mind. I didn't know she was the thing until I remembered, oh, she was on that show on MTV. Cool. Okay. Man, lack of star power. That's how I define 1995. Lack of star power, lack of just grasp of what their identity is, because you had older guys, you had newer guys. It's just, the show was just a mess. And I didn't think it could get as worse as WrestleMania 3.
Oh, spoiler alert. I think when we get to the end here, I think we just spoiled it. It's a good point, though, in regards of star power. Because there's a lot of new guys here, right? Again, we talked about WrestleMania 10, where it's, 9, 10, where the transition. But in regards of coming here, but it's like we get Jeff Jarrett, We get Rhodey, 1, 2, 3 Kid, the Blue Brothers. You know, so there's just a lot of that, but we'll get into it. First off, WrestleMania 11, Vince McMahon, Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. Did they do any better for you on the second WrestleMania together? I know you did not like the first one.
That's why Vince laughed. It's so bad, man. They're so bad together. It's so bad. It's just incredibly bad. But I didn't understand. Sometimes Vince was going for the heel. Sometimes Vince wasn't going for the heel. Jerry was just worried about Pam Anderson, which is right. That's his gimmick. I didn't like how the whole show catered towards Pam Anderson's appearance and where she was. It was like a Where's Waldo.
I didn't understand it at all. Like, what was the story behind it all? That took, you know, and also she showed up with, you know, I was like, okay. But yeah, I didn't understand it either. Didn't make no sense. Then Jenny McCarthy cheering for Diesel. You know, I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was a mess of a show, but it did have a start. Like there was a start of a match. There was a match that opened the show, and it was a guy that I thought was going to be a superstar. We all thought he was. If you watch the WrestleManias, he just wasn't technically a main event of one. And now he's in a tag team with the British Bulldog. We had Lex Luger and British Bulldog. And who did they take on? Who are these bums?
It's the Allied Powers, Lex Luger and British Bulldog taking on the Blue Brothers, Jacob and Eli Blue, with Uncle Zebekiah in a tag match there. I'll just say, in regards of the Allied Powers, again, I'm with you, right? You see Lex Luger from where he was to where he is then at that point. But, you know, they had a good look. I liked it. Team USA, you had, you know, England, and, you know, okay, cool. The British Bulldog. But, wow, had the mighty had fallen. This show in general, I mean, this is going to be the theme. There is a match, actually 2 matches where I was like, okay, these are good. I enjoyed these matches. Not a lot of them I felt really good about. This was, like you said, did not feel like a WrestleMania. And that was my point, where, like, this is where I fell off. Like, you know, I mean, I'm watching WCW. I'm paying attention there. You know, these WrestleManias I didn't really see. My son is starting to watch the Attitude Era. He asked me, he goes, Dad, out of all the WWE eras, what was your favorite? And I'm like, well, you know, so I enjoyed the golden age. I mean, I wasn't around. I was a kid. I didn't pay attention, you know, but now when I started, I liked the golden era, you know, but
yeah,
older, Ruthless Aggression. What about the Attitude Era? Nah, not really. Well, he found the Attitude Era and bras and panty matches. And he is like 2 a.m. He's watching that stuff. And I'm like, dude, turn the tablet off. You know, I can't stop. No, but so this is where we're going at this point. Which WrestleManias didn't feel like WrestleManias. Whenever I did tune in or peek here and there, they did not feel like a WrestleMania, and this one did not. It didn't at all, minus the celebrity power and, of course, the NFL element to it. You know, I just don't. Again, you say, man, give the belt to someone else. Let's give it to Bret Hart. Where's Bret Hart on this card? Who was the guy they were supposed to be passing the torch to that they lifted on the shoulders? Where was he? He was on this card wrestling Bob Backlund. We'll talk about it. Shawn Michaels and Diesel, we'll talk about that. But again, all I'm saying is that this is what happens when you don't have that quote unquote mega power, right? You know, I mean, you know, you think about eventually will be Stone Cold Steve Austin. He will see Hogan was that. Hogan leaves. You're at a dead still. Austin comes, it skyrockets. You got that star power again, that mega power. Then you have John Cena, the PG era. John Cena is that mega power. Roman Reigns in and
so now
by the tribal chief. So exactly. So you see the effect of that. It's like, oh, but this guy deserves a shot. Well, sometimes they don't, because look what happens. You don't have that one star who could do it. As great as Bret Hart is, or Shawn Michaels, they are not Stone Cold Steve Austin. They are not John Cena. They are not Hulk Hogan. They aren't that star power. And now we have Sami Zayn, your modern day Bret Hart.
Oh gosh, can we stop with this?
Anyway, you know, Justin,
Stop
I see
hating
you,
on
man.
Sammy.
Great to see you. Great to see you, Justin. Oh, he hated Jey Uso. He hates Sami Zayn.
He hates Obafemi.
Oh,
He's the IWC, brother.
He's the president of the IWC.
Oh
I
my
hate
gosh.
the IWC. I love DSG. He's a good dude, but can't stand the IWC.
Yeah,
But anyway, back to this. Allied Powers versus the Blue Brothers. Not much to discuss, to be honest with you. The Allied Powers do win. 6 minutes, 36 seconds. Couldn't come close, or the 6 minutes, 34 seconds. Couldn't come fast enough. Not much really to talk about. Was there anything that stood out to you about that match?
No. Could not get through it fast enough. Could not wait for it to end. To be honest, because it was a match for nothing. Literally nothing.
It was like, why? This is WrestleMania. You can't find point in order though. Remember, we're like, man, through 10 WrestleManias, why is Greg the Hammer Valentine on every WrestleMania? Why is this guy always there? Like, let's get somebody new. Now it's like there's not enough. Who are these guys? What are these random dudes?
No. Greg the Hammer Valentine was never a star. He was never a star. He was never someone I looked forward. He's never someone like, oh, I can't wait to watch the great. No, from the inception of us doing this saga, the series, never once did anyone ever say, ooh, did you see that Greg the Hammer Valentine match?
No,
he brought so much star power to the show. No one ever said that.
But you know,
No.
Would you
They
rather
said
have
Piper.
the Blue Brothers or I don't know. Piper should have had a match on here. I don't know. You get regulated these referee roles. But anyway, the next one, better quality guys in play here. You know, Razor Ramon, 1-2-3 Kid, who is basically the manager, taking on Jeff Jarrett and Rhodey, who of course everyone knows that 1-2-3 Kid is X-Pac. Rhodey is Road Dogg Jesse James, in the corner of Jeff Jarrett. 1-2-3 Kid in the corner of Razor Ramon. What is your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, for the Intercontinental Championship, right? IC title match.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Jarrett won it at the Royal Rumble. That's the story behind it. At least these days, at least these WrestleManias, we do get some kind of story behind the matches. Whereas back in the day, we didn't know. I knew this because of watching WrestleMania. So good on them for that. I don't know, man. Razor, like, it was a DQ finish. Did Jarrett break his nose for real life? Like, did he get busted open for real life? That was pretty legit.
Yeah, towards the end.
But other than that, though, I didn't like. You couldn't do anything else with Razor. I don't know, Bobby. Like, this whole pay-per-view was awful to me, and I didn't think that Razor should ever be in a feud with someone like Jeff Jarrett. They just look differently. They just look at them paired side by side. Razor and Jeff. One looks like a mid-carder with that outfit. Sorry, Jeff, loved you. I still loved your look. Hell, when you were doing your retirement tour in AEW, I was actually liking what you were doing in AEW because you were a true heel. Anyway, but with his look and his outfit and that silly, just everything was screams mid-card. And with Razor Ramon, everything he does is screamed main eventer. So it was just silly to see them wrestle for a mid-card title.
Yes. You know, they don't mix salt and sugar. You know, he's like, and I'm not hating on Jeff Jarrett at all. I can't stand that character. I don't see those two together. It, to me, and I'm not hating on Jeff, but I'm going to say this, is like, you wasted Razor Ramon for this match. You wasted what you could have probably done with him, especially after what he did with Shawn Michaels the last WrestleMania. I will say though, what they were able to do with 1-2-3 Kid, made him look really good. I mean, the crowd got wild for him. I think that's what they should have done. They should have made this a tag match, and I think it probably would have came off a lot better. This should have been your tag match, not the Allied Powers and the Blue Brothers. Should have been 1-2-3 Razor versus Jeff Jarrett and Rhodey. Might have been a little more entertaining because Roman and Jeff, there was no chemistry there. So, I'm looking forward to Jeff Jarrett's Dark Side of the Ring. Is it a TNA? Is it a TNA?
They have a TNA one. They have a TNA one. We got to watch that whenever it comes out.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. So, but anyway, I hear what you're saying. I agree with you. When you look at those two names on the card there, you get excited. You're like, oh, those are too good. I could watch a Jeff Jarrett match. Of course, you think of TNA Jeff, but Jeff Jarrett, Razor Ramon, and you look at it, and then you're kind of like, oh, there's just nothing here. There's no chemistry. this was just a bad decision and a stupid finish. It's a dumbass finish. You know,
Yep.
another DQ finish for WrestleMania. I know how many. I mean, we haven't kept track, but I'm sure we're going to be shocked with how many DQ finishes at WrestleMania. But anyway, shout out to 123 Kid. He looked phenomenal. X-Pac. You know, you probably, you know, if we were around that age, we'd probably go, that kid's gonna be a superstar. He's exciting. Put the belt on him. He deserves it. You know. But anyway,
No, hold on. No, I was thinking that kid looks like someone in AEW named Speedball Mike Bailey. That's what I thought.
that's another one of those guys I downloaded on WWE 2K. Speedball Mike Bailey. I told myself, can you play that guy? But I need somebody to be this opponent, to be my opponent in this match. I said, he goes, I don't want to be Mike Bailey because he didn't know who he was. All of a sudden, of course, they did the moves. And he's like, I want to be Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm like, oh, son of a, there it is. But anyway, yes, Speedball Mike Bailey. Next one, The Undertaker, who was not at WrestleMania 10. WrestleMania 11 takes on King Kong Bundy, who we have not seen for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden he's back. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm like, it was kind of a situation where I'm like, oh, who's Taker wrestling this time? Oh, I thought he died. Like thinking about King Kong Bundy.
He's still alive?
Because I think of him as in the era of obviously wrestling in the era with Andre. So he didn't age. He looked the same. And then
exactly the same.
Then I thought, oh, so it's so funny to see how wrestling hasn't changed at all. WrestleMania is full with celebrities nobody cares about and old aging talent taking over like spots from the younger guys. That's exactly what this was. An older dude to let Taker get over. But the truth behind this was, I did some research, was Taker was injured once again. They put him against King Kong Bundy because he's safe, slow match, didn't have to do too much, so it protected Taker. But it was such a flat finish. Like, wasn't it? It was like, oh, that was it? Because he can't do a tombstone. Like, it was just it. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, oh, okay. Sure, another one bites the dust, but they have not recognized this as a streak yet. So I'm curious on which WrestleMania they finally acknowledged the streak as the streak.
No, didn't they say he's undefeated at WrestleMania?
But they didn't call it the streak.
No, they didn't. They didn't say the streak, but they did say he's undefeated at WrestleMania. I will say that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know the backstory to this. Because to me, I see this match, and this to me is a insurmountable foe, a giant basically taking on Undertaker, make Undertaker look good, like, oh, he's taking on this big dude. Where I think Undertaker should have always been the giant, you know. And I'll tell you this, watching these matches, same thing with Shawn Michaels. Michaels, obviously, the first few singles matches we saw of Shawn Michaels, I was telling you, I wasn't impressed with him. Undertaker so far, because of the opponents he's working with, I've not been very impressed with Undertaker at WrestleMania. It's like he ages like fine wine. He gets better. We know it gets better. Like Shawn Michaels, we know that gets better. Bret Hart was always good. Bret Hart was great watching. But it makes sense. Taker was hurt, and Bundy, as big as he is safe. You know, think about how much trust when he goes against the little people wrestlers and everything like that. Obviously, he knows how to protect you. So, and I'll say, I'm with you. It was a flat finish but what do you expect? He's not going to choke slam him. Can't pick him up for the tombstone. He scooped them. He scoop slammed them, which was fun for everybody. But that's my thing, dude. Like, his really sold it. Like, because McMahon didn't do him any favors back then, you know, put him against these guys like, oh, let's put him against a big dude. No, don't make Taker look small. Taker's big.
Yep.
Have him be the imposing force and just wipe out guys. But again, you don't want to put an up-and-comer or guy who, like you said, a young guy against Undertaker because that guy's get wiped out. So what do? Go get an older guy, a guy with that King Kong Bundy. Oh my God, he main evented WrestleMania. He's going against Taker, and Taker beats him, and there you go. Now, you're talking about a guy, like, I mean, who we've seen the last 2 WrestleManias, but was almost completely different. You had WWF tag team titles were on the line. Owen Hart with his mystery tag team partner against the Smoking Guns. Of course, it's a Burt Gunn and Billy Gunn. Thinking on Owen Hart. Owen Hart now, you know, again, he's very good on the mic. I thought he was better than his brother, you know, just the way he talked. But he says, my mystery tag team partner, former champion, It's Yokozuna, which of course is a big deal because this Yokozuna challenged his brother. He still hates on his brother. Yoko comes out, and I mean, we know the story, but again, you just watching in real, like not real time, but like, damn, he was huge. I mean, he got so much bigger in just a short amount of time, which was crazy.
Insane.
This one, you know, not really much to do. Owen Hart did most of the work, and Yoko did his thing, and you know, Yoko and Owen go over. They get the titles. They give them the belts, which, all right, cool. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. It's funny that I was reading some stories that Owen didn't even know who his partner was going to be till day of WrestleMania.
Oh,
So it was a surprise to him. It was supposed to be, I forgot who it was supposed to be, but it wasn't supposed to be Yoko. And yeah, Yoko was massive. And I was watching him take bumps, and he was winded by just trying to get back up. And there was one bump in particular where he was holding one of the guns. He told Owen to drop kick him, and then obviously the guns gets out of the way. He drop kicks Yoko, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, Yoko's gonna die. That's what I thought. But no, Yoko. Once we saw Yoko come out, nobody expected Owen and Yoko to lose. So cool title change. I guess. Wish they did more with Owen. I wish Owen wasn't stuck in the mid card.
yeah.
He did have a good promo. He was a good heel. In a time where there was no superstars, like you could say Shawn Michaels and Bret, but in a time where there was no true superstars, Owen could have been at the top as a heel, at least in my opinion. But you know, they didn't want to see Owen versus Shawn for the title. They wanted to see Diesel versus Shawn. But imagine that if you're rebooking it. Imagine Owen and Shawn. How fun that could have been, with Owen being the champion, being a heel where Shawn's trying to chase it. I don't know. I'm just talking stuff, but that's another what if episode. Just thinking about that now is like we're seriously booking it. I didn't care for the Diesel match, which we'll get into. I didn't care about Diesel at all. Diesel was boring. But man, Owen and Shawn, that would have been so cool. Anyway, what do you think, Bobby?
No, like I said, the match was fine. The match was fine. I agree with you. Again, I could have seen Owen Hart taking on Razor. I think I would have liked that better. I think that would have been better. Maybe Undertaker versus Owen. Give me that. I think that would have been a lot better. Or run it back with Owen versus Bret. Because the next match is Bret taking on Bob Backlund and in an I Quit match. And I'm going to be honest, I was confused. I was like, what
do you say? What do you say?
What is that? No, you know, like, okay, like, it's funny how those matches evolved into something that actually mattered. Because back then it was kind of, and I'm going to say this pointed thing for Bob Backlund. But at that age, phenomenal shape. He's a wrestling legend, right? For current wrestling fans are like, who the hell is that guy? You know, that's like, you know, create a wrestler. That's how you start off when you create a wrestler. If you go to W2K, create a wrestler, that's the dude you start. Then you just add to him, you fix his body, and you do whatever. But Bob Backlund was a really good in-ring wrestler. I mean, he knew how to work. And him, you would think when I saw Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna be intrigued because I know Bob Backlund. I know what he was. And you know, he's playing chess, and I like his character was fun. His gimmick before the match. You know, he's kind of like, it's not fair. No, you know, I like it. He was really good. He was fun. Then the match came. And this is Bret Hart and Bob Backlund, but Bret Hart, most of all, and this is the match we're getting. You could have ran it back with Piper. Could have done Owen versus Bret. Could have been Bret versus Taker. Could have done something, but you do Bob Backlund, and Bret Hart even says probably his worst match. His worst pay-per-view match of all time. He does not like this match, and I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was like, am I being a hater? And I like you. I did some research, and nope, Bret hates it too. And again, with the talent in the ring, it was not really good. I don't get it, but your point.
Well, there was times where Bret would do a setup move to his next move. And in that setup move, Piper would get in the way with the mic. What do you say? What do you say? And you can see Bret's face is giving Piper the eye of like, dude, this is this is fluid. This is my setup move. It goes into the sharpshooter, whatever the case may be. And Bret is getting interrupted every 5 seconds with, what do you say? And so it's difficult for fans to get into, it's difficult for the performers to get into a rhythm when every 5 seconds it's, what do you say? And you see Bret literally look at Piper in the face. Is like, dude, get out. He was about to put the sharpshooter on, dude. And he just got in this, what do you say? Nothing yet. The submission's not on Piper. Like, you would think Piper would be smart enough, ring awareness enough to understand, like, this is killing the match.
Was that now that you say that, was that a protest of Piper? Kind of around like, this is what you got me doing? You had me being referee here? And because, again, I think that makes a lot more sense now, because when you think of Bret Hart and Bob Backlund, you're like, yeah, you're not going to get a slobber knocker, but you're going to get an in-ring thing. If you love like technical wrestling, you're going to love that type of match. But it wasn't that type of match. But I will give Bob Backlund his flowers. Again, I love the character beforehand, and then you had that switch right after. He's kind of like looking off in the lights. He's like, I don't know what happened. So like, shout out to his character work. We get into the main event, the WWF Championship. Well, the semi-main event, WWF Championship match. Diesel taking on Shawn Michaels. That is the longest match on the card. 20 minutes, 35 seconds. I'm going to say it like this, and then you just follow up, and you could, go off on me all you want. I don't give a shit, because I would do the same to you, and that's the way we are. You just said you care. I love this match. This was the best match on the card. Great chemistry. And we know Shawn Michaels is Shawn Michaels. The same thing as Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon. We know Razor Ramon is good, but Shawn was the one with Razor who made that match great. Not saying this was one of the great matches, but this saved a little bit of the show for me, because I didn't have high expectations for this show. I didn't have high expectations for this match, and I am a Kevin Nash fan. But I really enjoyed this match. And it made me go, damn, I wish Shawn Michaels, after he lost his smile, went to the WCW. I wish we would have got Shawn Michaels versus Kevin Nash Wolfpack, because I really enjoyed this match. The chemistry. First of all, just hit me. And I don't know why we haven't talked about this. Talked about the arena. 15,000 fans. Looked like a house show. The stupidest thing about this show, and I agree with Shawn Michaels, because if you watch the clip, that one clip, go, man, Shawn's a dick. We know he's a dick, but he's a dick. He threw that poor photographer. There was 30 photographers around the ring. The whole show. Why? I've never seen it. That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. 20 photographers on one side, 30 on the other. And Shawn falls on one. Shawn grabs him and tosses him. Like, what? That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But anyway, back to the match. I really enjoyed this match. This was fun. That made WrestleMania feel like WrestleMania. That should have been the main event. I understand why Bam Bam and Tyler were the main event. Taylor. Star power. But Diesel and Shawn Michaels, the match they put together, the chemistry they had, like you would go, Razor and Jeff Jarrett, those two names alone, you go, that's going to be a good match. No. Bob Backlund, Bret Hart. It's Bret Hart. That's going to be a good match. No. Taker and King Kong Bundy. Good. No. Diesel, Shawn Michaels. Damn, that was a good match. Big versus small. Buddies, you could tell, we know behind the scenes they're best friends. They love professional wrestling. You saw it in this match. The chemistry was off the charts. Good match for that show. I'm not saying great. Oh my God. Good. The best match on this card. And that's none of these matches were good. Best match on the card. I really enjoyed this match. I know you said you didn't. You could care less. I do want to see Owen versus Shawn Michaels, because then you would take away Diesel versus Shawn, and Diesel versus Shawn was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this one.
I didn't say it wasn't good. I didn't care. Like, it was fine. Like, I just didn't care. Listen, because you know what I kept on thinking about? During the match, there was a front row. Like, there was a mom, son, and dad. I kept on watching her because they had a camera, and she was too focused on like fixing the camera for her son. And you know, that was the vibe of the show. Like, nobody actually cared. They were just there, and a wrestling show just happened to be there. And this is the main event, and it looked like a house show and felt like one. Shawn wrestled his ass off. Diesel did whatever Diesel does, which is work slow and do his big monster stuff, which is fine. But all I could think about was Kevin Nash does his little podcast where he just makes fun of wrestlers and talk about the good old days. And this guy couldn't draw. This guy couldn't draw. Brother, here's a reality check. I'm just little Josh. You don't care about me, but here's a reality check. You were the champion during the WWF's worst period. You were majorly blamed for the downfall of WCW with the booking decisions in your championship reign specifically. Brother, shut up. Because I watched WrestleMania 10, 9, all the other ones felt big. This is the least desired championship match in WrestleMania history up to this point. As in, you didn't even beat out Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event. You didn't even beat out Bam Bam Bigelow. In your own sport, you didn't beat out a football player either. So don't talk to me don't go on your little show and say LA Knight this or that or that. You, when you were on top in both companies, were at their lowlights. That's a fact. But let's go into this match. Shawn was the reason why it was good. We all know that. Shawn wrestled his ass off. It was the super kick. The interview afterwards, the double turn as they turned on Diesel and they were cheering for Shawn. Shawn cuts a great baby face promo afterwards, but it was kind of heelish, but he had a legitimate gripe. He did hit the sweet chin music. He could have counted to 20. He did get his, he had a legitimate gripe. Listen, the match was good, but I'm just like, I didn't feel like a big match, Bobby. It didn't feel like a big match, and the finish sucked. Well, that was the worst powerbomb I ever seen.
Yeah, this show, his powerbombs are. This show did not feel big. The show did not feel big, right? Again,
powerbomb wasn't right.
You saw that. You heard that. Huh?
It was really bad.
Yeah,
he landed on his feet.
But again, the lack of that mega star. You know what I mean? And that's what happens, because how many WrestleMania 3, you talk about like people, oh, that's one of the best WrestleMania of all time. Not to you. You know, the main event, you could say, yeah, I get it. I understand why that main event is one of the, great matches of WrestleMania history because of the moment, the story, and whatever. But the rest card wasn't great, right? You look at this one and you go, okay, can the main event carry the show? We knew who drew the house. Look what happens when you take the megastar out of the house. Look at what happened. They were 3,000 stars, 3,000 fans less than the year before. That fan base was a lot less than the year before that. They couldn't even book a decent arena. They were booking coliseums and whatever, multiple things. And now, and again, it's just gonna be the way it is. I'm just gonna say, post Hogan, let's give the belt give the belt to Bret. Let's give the belt to Diesel. Let's go. Damn, that's why we were doing it. Oh, that's why Hogan was the mega power. And of course, we know we're only on 2 WrestleManias away from the Austin era, and we're going to see the change. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see, because this is an example, Josh, is when we're discussing this as we go to other shows, why it's important to be like, hey, if there's a main attraction, this is why you keep the main attraction. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could, like Cody, we're saying, oh, okay, it's boring, Cody, and blah, blah, but AEW like would kill to sell it. But anyway, I enjoyed the match. I get what your point is, though. Let's get into the main event, and which is Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm just gonna say, better than what I was led to believe. I did see this match a long time ago, young, very young. Don't remember it. was going in. I was like, I'll just have it on the background. I'll look at it. I'll be here. But I'll tell you what, Lawrence Taylor, first off, one of the greatest football players of all time, right? We know that. He didn't do half bad, dude. He didn't do bad for his skill set. And of course, Bam Bam Bigelow is Bam Bam Bigelow. Like we talk about King Kong Bundy being a safe big guy. He couldn't really do much, Bundy. Bam Bam could do a lot. Bam Bam could make you look. Josh, Bam Bam, I'll say for me, not you, like torn rotator cuff, torn labrum in the hip, all that stenosis in my, if I was to hit a clothesline on Roman, it would look really bad because Roman is not going to, Roman can't do, Bobby's can't, that's fake as hell. If I was to hit a clothesline on Bam Bam, Bam Bam would make me look so good because that's how good he is. He could be offensively, he was great. As a opponent, he made that guy look like $1 million. He could. And I'll say, should this have been the main event? No. But I understand it. And it was the right, because I'm like, man, they couldn't have anybody else better go against Lawrence Taylor. Like, he was like, oh, we're going to have Bam Bam represent the wrestling community. No, I see it. Because not only was it the best decision in regards of, Lawrence Taylor is basically the star of this match. He's the attraction. But Bam Bam, he's the performer. He's the one who's going to make it the match. He's going to make it. He's the Shawn Michaels in this Diesel Shawn Michaels thing. Like Shawn Michaels makes Diesel look great when Diesel's okay or good. Bam Bam made Lawrence Taylor look good. And Lawrence Taylor did well for himself. So I'm going to say this match was better than I expected, better than what's said historic-wise. That if you actually sat down, and you knew, okay, this is not a wrestler. This is a football player. This is Bam Bam. That taper your expectations and watch. And by the end of the thing, you're like, damn, that was better than I thought. And that's how I felt. Should not have been a main event. This should not have been a WrestleMania main event. But better match than I thought. Shout out to Lawrence Taylor. Bam Bam Bigelow. We're fans of Bam Bam. We love Bam Bam Bigelow, man. So yeah, larger than life. So what did you think, man?
Who would have thought a main event would ruin your career? Bam Bam didn't think that. He was told by Vince, you're a made man now, which was the opposite. Losing to an outsider buried him, and he regrets doing the match. Didn't help him at all. And Bam Bam says he felt betrayed by this match by Vince. Yeah. Oh yeah. Think about it. When was it like? This was a one-on-one match with no interference, really. Like it was one-on-one.
And he lost.
If this was a tag team match, I wouldn't have minded LT getting a pin because you would have had LT with whatever babyface wrestler you wanted to throw in there. Hell, it could have been Bret. Whatever, instead of it could have been anybody. But then you have an outsider come in and just bury one of your top guys or one of your guys who are supposed to be top guys. It'd be different than it'd be if it was LT versus a mid-card comedy act. But no, this was a young guy. Imagine right now, Patrick Mahomes, whoever's just think of a superstar, comes in and beats Obafemi right now. How ridiculous would that be? It'd be pretty silly. In the IWC, would be going nuts. Bobby Melendez would be going nuts. I'd be going nuts. We'd all be going nuts. So we look back at this as nostalgia. Oh, LT, that's right. He main evented. Well, the main event killed Bam Bam, and he was the one in it. It wasn't one of these situations where Sami Zayn puts Johnny Knoxville over. That's a mid-carder talent in a mid-card situation. He's a comedy act at that time. Bam Bam was supposed to be a serious, up-and-coming heel or a monster. And then he just came out looking like a chump. I mean, yes, you can say LT put in the work, which he did. He trained with Pat Patterson, trained with Bam Bam Bigelow, trained with Laney Poffo, worked 6 hours a day. I looked into it. I saw all the stuff. I wanted to make sure he wasn't like a Travis Scott versus a guy who goes in there and does work. He did. But it hurt Bam Bam. And that's bad business for Vince. You got imagine like social media today. You do, everyone says you do everything for the likes and clicks, but they're cheap likes and clicks. Was this a cheap like and click moment for Vince and WWF? because you just brought in a one-time person to not even do the buy rate as you did last year at WrestleMania 10 to bury one of your top talents who could have made you money in the long run, but instead it buried him. It was a bad decision. It was a very bad decision to have a one-on-one match and have your top guy lose or a top guy lose. That's why you didn't have star power. Bad decisions. Too worked up on the NFL and star power. That's how I feel, Bobby. But overall, everything you said is correct, though. You put in the work and you looked real. You looked legit. But it was a bad outcome.
Here you go. Well, guys, listen, this is WrestleMania 11 in the books. Josh, before we wrap this up, I'll let you wrap it up. But before you wrap it up, sir, and call it a show, let everybody know where this show is ranked in your list so far. 11 WrestleManias now.
11 WrestleManias. I knew LT was a scary dude at the time. I understand that, TSG. But come on, it's pro wrestling. But like I said, I didn't think anything could be worse than WrestleMania 3, and actually there was one. It was this one. This was by far the most painful one to get through. I'm glad it was shorter than the other ones. I think it was only a 2.5 hour show. What killed it for me, the main thing what killed it was the lack of usage of your stars. You had Roddy Piper be a guest referee where he's just screaming into a microphone the entire time. You had Owen Hart in a tag team match with Yokozuna, which didn't really show us what Owen could do, really. And then the main event was a celebrity match. And then your own match, your own WWF championship match. I know I'm summarizing the show, Bobby. Was celebrity driven with some guy who was interviewing people that no one's ever heard of, Pam Anderson and Jenny McCarthy, who didn't understand the assignment, in a mess of a finish, in my opinion. But yeah, this has been Josh Kimmel here, Vince Talk Sports Network, No Holds Barred Wrestling Channel. More importantly here, every single Saturday at 6 p.m. We're doing a special showtime this Sunday. We have Bobby Monday Night Nitro reviews. How's that going, Bobby? Every single Monday. Is that going well?
Well, for me, like you said, well, like you've been dealing with, and I've been having something going on, so I didn't get to do episode 3. I have episode 3 ready to go. So I have to actually sit down and do the show. But again, it will be back live. Hopefully, I may do it even before Monday. I may do it after Monday or whatever. But it's going well, man. So No Holds Barred Wrestling Channel, Nitro Rewind, Dynamite Rundown, WrestleMania Rewinds, and of course you got No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. You got Real Talk Wrestling, and so much other stuff we got cooking in the background. Dark Side of the Ring, we're going to talk about as well. Once that TNA, and talk about TNA, they got Slammiversary starting soon. So today, yeah, you got plenty of wrestling. If you love wrestling, Slammiversary, TNA, they just announced the TNA Knockouts Television Championship, 16 women tournament going on. So yeah, and so and then of course you got Forbidden Door as
Which
well.
Australian tag team member is going to win it? The tall one or the small one? Who do they have over there in TNA? You know what I'm talking about? The Iconics. Which one of those are going to win?
Yes, the Iconics. The smaller one, the smaller one. Yeah, they were WWE. But we have other stuff too. We got a lot of stuff cooking back there. So just make sure though, guys, in the comments, let us know too. Or after you watch the show post, let us know what you hate and what you love, what we're talking about. We welcome anything. Even the IWC people, let us know. We don't care. But also what you would like us to talk about. There's the great thing about wrestling. There's always something to debate or discuss. So we appreciate all those tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next time we're live. Till then, have a great week.
Bye, guys.